The planet Varelia had never seen a day like this. Thick smoke curled over the shattered remains of the city's once proud skyline. Twisted metal and broken glass glittering under twin suns that barely pierced the dense, dark clouds of war. In the heart of the ruined capital, the last defenders of the Allied colony fought desperately. Their uniforms were scorched, their weapons sputtered, and their eyes carried the weight of a hopeless battle. Over the comm channels, fragmented voices called for reinforcements that would never come. Commander Alaric Voss gripped his plasma rifle tighter. His jaw clenched against the cacophony of explosions nearby. The invading force is relentless and merciless, had pushed through every line of defense with brutal efficiency. Their machines moved like a tide, overwhelming the defenders with numbers and firepower. "We can't hold much longer," Voss muttered, scanning the horizon. "They're cutting off our retreat." Beside him, Lieutenant Mira Selen fought to keep her squad in formation. No response from command. No backup. We're alone. The truth weighed heavily. This colony had been too far from the core worlds. The Galactic Council's fleets were stretched thin, tangled in conflicts far away. Here, on the edge of known space, help was a distant hope, most a cruel joke. Alien war machines stomped closer, their claws tearing through barricades and their weapons spitting deadly energy. Voss barked orders, rallying what remained of his soldiers. "Hold the line. We buy time, no matter the cost." But fear gnawed at every heart. The soldiers were tired, outmatched, and painfully aware that this was likely their final battle. Suddenly, a blip appeared on Voss's scanner, faint signature. Distant, but unmistakable. "What is that?" he asked, eyes narrowing. Salon's voice trembled with cautious hope. "Unknown fleet. Approaching fast." Moments later, streaks of light tore across the sky as ships dropped out of hyperspace above the city. They moved with purpose, their sleek, unfamiliar designs cutting through the chaos like a blade. The invaders faltered, their advance slowing as human warships descended upon the battlefield. The defenders watched in stunned silence as human vessels unleashed devastating volleys of energy and missiles, striking the alien machines with precision and overwhelming force. Voss's voice cracked through the comm. This is the human fleet. They've come." For the first time in hours, hope blossomed in the hearts of the defenders. The humans fought with a ferocity that caught even the seasoned soldiers off guard. Their tactics were swift and aggressive, their ships maneuvering with deadly grace, as human marines deployed from orbit. Landing among the battered defenders, they moved with relentless determination. Their battle cries were fierce but disciplined, their movements coordinated in perfect harmony with local forces. Voss allowed himself a rare smile as he watched the tide of battle begin to turn. The human arrival was no accident. It was a calculated, precise intervention that had saved this colony from annihilation. "This is no ordinary rescue," Selen said, eyes shining with newfound hope. "They fight like a furious storm." The battle was far from over, but with humanity's arrival, defenders knew that the galaxy's forgotten edge had been given a second chance. The alien invaders, once confident and unchallenged, now found themselves facing a new threat unlike any they had encountered before. As human warships tore through their ranks, the atmosphere shifted from assured conquest to stunned confusion. High above the battle-ravaged surface of Varelia, Captain Marissa Chen stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute. Her eyes scanned the chaotic battlefield displayed on holographic screens. Her expression calm but intense. "We have the element of surprise," Chen said, her voice steady. "Engage full assault protocols. Focus on disrupting their command networks and supply lines." Her orders rippled through the fleet. Human cruisers and frigates surged forward, their sleek hulls shimmering as they deployed advanced drone swarms designed to disable enemy ships without unnecessary destruction. The invaders' vessels, though powerful, were slow to react to this. New style of warfare in the sky over Varelia's capital. Human fighters weaved through bursts of alien fire, striking with precision before vanishing behind debris clouds. Their maneuvers were fluid and unpredictable, forcing the enemy to scramble defenses. Below, human marines prepared to deploy, clad in adaptive armor that adjusted to the harsh conditions. They checked their weapons and equipment with practiced efficiency. Lieutenant Elena Morales led her squad into the thick of the fight, coordinating with local resistance fighters who had been holding out in underground bunkers. "We move fast, hit hard, and never give them time to regroup," Morales reminded her team. "Remember, we're not just here to survive, we're here to win." The combined force of human and allied troops advanced through shattered streets, clearing enemy strongholds with a mix of courage and cunning. Their communication was seamless, their strategy dynamic. For the alien commanders, this was uncharted territory. Their traditional tactics, relying on overwhelming numbers and brute force, unraveling before a relentless storm of innovation and determination. In the command center of the invaders' flagship, General Thrax observed the sudden shift with growing alarm. "They fight differently than we expected," Thrax growled, his multifaceted eyes narrowing. "Their ships strike like lightning, their ground forces adapt quickly. We must adjust our strategy now." Back on the Resolute, Chen anticipated the enemy's counter. "Prepare for rapid redeployment," she said. "Keep pressure constant. Their strength is in numbers, but our strength is in precision and unpredictability." As the day wore on, the human fleet executed a series of coordinated strikes that crippled key enemy installations and supply convoys. The alien advance faltered, confusion rippling through their ranks. Meanwhile, Morales' squad secured vital intel from a captured command post, information that revealed hidden enemy reinforcements en route. "We're not done yet," Morales said grimly. "The fight for Varelia is far from over." The humans and their allies regrouped, sharing intelligence and planning their next moves. The arrival of humanity had not just saved the colony, had transformed the battle into a fight for survival and honor. Above the battered world, the twin suns began to set, casting an eerie glow over the battlefield. For the defenders, hope burned brighter than ever. Captain Chen looked out through the viewport. The stars beyond, silent witnesses to a turning tide. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. "Humanity has come to stay." The air around Varelia crackled with energy as the human fleet pressed their advantage. Captain Marissa Chen's flagship, the Resolute, led the charge, a tempest of steel and determination sweeping through enemy lines with relentless precision. In the vastness of space, battle was a symphony of light and sound. Energy beams tore across the void, missile trails carved fiery paths, and electronic warfare danced invisibly among the combatants. But humanity's strength wasn't just in their technology, was in their tactics, their willingness to innovate, and their unyielding spirit. Chen stood at the command console, issuing orders with calm authority. "Deploy drone swarms Alpha and Beta to flank the cruiser squadron. Maintain formation Gamma for close support. Engage." On the tactical hologram, miniature ships darted like swarming hornets, overwhelming enemy sensors and disabling key systems before the invaders could respond. The enemy cruisers, massive and heavily armored, found themselves crippled by precision strikes that rendered their weapons useless in the chaos. Human fighters darted with lightning speed, exploiting gaps and creating confusion. Their pilots were fearless, using maneuvers that baffled the alien commanders who relied on brute force and overwhelming firepower. On the planet's surface, Lieutenant Elena Morales led her squad through the war-torn city streets. Buildings that once held families now served as battlegrounds, their ruins providing both cover and hazards. "Keep moving, stay sharp," Morales urged. Her Marines responded with practiced coordination, clearing enemy patrols and securing critical points. The human ground forces operated like a well-oiled machine. Their adaptive armor protected them from harsh environments and enemy fire, while their communication systems allowed seamless coordination. A sudden explosion nearby threw Morales to the ground. Dazed but determined, she regrouped her squad and pressed on. Each step forward was a victory, each cleared block a testament to human resilience. Back in space, Chen tracked the shifting battlefield with keen eyes. The enemy was adapting, sending reinforcements to plug gaps and mount counterattacks. But humanity's response was swift. Initiate countermeasures Delta, Chen commanded. Prepare the electromagnetic pulse on my mark. The pulse was a risky weapon, capable of disabling vast arrays of electronic systems, but it also left the user vulnerable. Timing and precision were everything. As the enemy cruisers advanced, the Resolute unleashed the pulse. A wave of invisible energy surged through space, causing enemy ships to flicker and falter. Systems died, engines stalled, weapons went dark. Human fighters capitalized instantly, striking down disabled vessels before they could recover. This is what they didn't expect, Chen said. A storm that hits hard, fast, and leaves nothing standing. The battle raged for hours, with both sides taking heavy losses. But the coalition's resolve never wavered. Humanity's fierce spirit and willingness to sacrifice inspired allies across the fleet. Amid the fighting, Chen received an encrypted message from ground forces. Morales' squad had secured a key supply depot and was pushing the enemy back. Good work, Chen replied. We're with you all the way. As night fell over Varelia, the alien forces began to retreat. Their formations broken and morale shaken. The storm had struck, and it had changed the course of the battle. But Chen knew the fight was far from over. The invaders would return, stronger and more desperate. Yet, humanity's arrival had sent a clear message when they came. They came like a furious storm, unrelenting, fierce, and impossible to ignore. The city of Varelia bore the scars of relentless conflict. Streets that once hummed with life now echoed with the steady cadence of footsteps and distant gunfire. Human Marines moved with purpose and precision, a living embodiment of the storm that had arrived to turn the tide. Lieutenant Alina Morales wiped the grime from her brow, her eyes scanning the horizon. The enemy was regrouping, their forces battered but not defeated. The coming hours would decide the fate of the colony and perhaps more. Squad, form up, Morales ordered. Her voice was calm but carried the weight of urgency. We hit there. Supply lines before they can resupply and reinforce. Disrupt their momentum. Her squad nodded, their faces set with determination. These soldiers weren't just fighters, they were pioneers of a new alliance, blending human ingenuity with the courage of their allies. As they moved through the ruins, Morales thought back to the countless hours of training that had forged them into an unstoppable force. It wasn't just their weapons or armor. It was the way they adapted, learned, and never backed down. At the edge of the city, the squad encountered enemy scouts. A fierce firefight erupted, laser bolts and plasma rounds lighting up the twilight. Morales led her team with unyielding resolve, weaving between cover and coordinating strikes that quickly overwhelmed the opposition. We're not just surviving, she said through comms. We're taking the fight to them. Back aboard. The resolute Captain Marissa Chen monitored the ground battle through drone feeds and field reports. The human forces were displaying a tenacity that astonished even her. They fight with heart, Chen remarked to her tactical officer. It's more than training, it's their spirit. We need to match that spirit everywhere. To support Morales' squad, the Resolute dispatched rapid response units equipped with experimental exosuits and tactical drones. These machines enhanced human abilities, allowing Marines to move faster, hit harder, and coordinate with precision. Meanwhile, the local resistance fighters, once isolated and fearful, began to rally. Inspired by the humans' fierce determination, they joined the counterattack, reclaiming lost territory block by block. The enemy struggled to adapt. Their rigid tactics, once so effective against scattered defenses, faltered against the relentless, flexible approach of the humans and their allies. General Thrax, watching the unfolding chaos, growled in frustration. Their spirit is unbreakable. They fight not just with weapons, but with something deeper, something we cannot understand. On the ground, Morales' squad moved swiftly toward a critical junction where enemy supplies were stockpiled. Using captured codes and local knowledge, they slipped past patrols and set charges that detonated in a controlled explosion, crippling the enemy's resources. "We've delayed their reinforcements," Morales reported. "This will buy us time." Her voice was steady, but inside, she felt the fierce satisfaction of a hard-won victory. Every success was a step closer to liberation. As night deepened over Veralia, the coalition forces held their lines and prepared. For the next phase of battle, the human storm was far from over. It was growing stronger. Captain Chen convened with Allied leaders in the Resolute Strategy Room. "We've proven that when we fight together, we can overcome even the greatest odds. Now, we must build on this momentum and push forward." The Allies agreed, united not just by necessity, but by newfound trust and respect. Outside, Morales' squad set up a temporary command post, their faces illuminated by flickering monitors and the glow of distant fires. Despite exhaustion, their eyes burned with purpose. "We're the storm," Morales whispered to herself, "and we won't be stopped." The victory at Verelia's outskirts brought a brief moment of pause, heavy with questions and new possibilities. In the Resolute's command chamber, Captain Marissa Chen and the Allied leaders gathered to reflect on the recent battles. And what made humanity's intervention so unexpectedly powerful? Ambassador Rilla, a seasoned diplomat from the Sithari Coalition, spoke first. "Your technology is impressive, Captain, but it is more than that. Your tactics and the spirit of your soldiers there is something unique about humans." Chen nodded thoughtfully. "You're right. Our military strength comes not only from advanced equipment, but from the way we fight. We innovate constantly, learn from failures quickly, and never accept defeat as final." Lieutenant Alina Morales joined the meeting via hologram from the field, her face still bearing the grime of battle, but her eyes sharp with determination. "On the ground, it's about adaptability," Morales explained. "We don't wait for perfect plans. We improvise, coordinate with local forces, and keep pushing forward, no matter what. We rely on teamwork and trust." The Allies listened, fascinated. Stories circulated about how humans had faced countless challenges on Earth wars, disasters, and hardship that forged a culture of resilience and creativity. Unlike species with rigid hierarchies or fixed traditions, humanity embraced change and learned to thrive in uncertainty. Dr. Kalin, the Resolute's chief scientist, joined the discussion. "Our technology reflects that mindset. Our drones are designed to work autonomously, but also adapt in real time. Our ship's AI can reconfigure tactics mid-battle based on new data. We don't just rely on raw power, we rely on flexibility." Ambassador Rila smiled. "It's a lesson for all of us. In this galaxy, survival depends on more than strength. It depends on unity, innovation, and the courage to face the unknown." Back on Verelia's surface, Morales' squad pushed deeper into enemy territory, their movements a living example of these principles. The soldiers coordinated with local engineers to disable enemy fortifications, using makeshift tools and quick thinking when standard gear failed. "We make our own luck," Morales told her team. "That's how we win." As reports arrived of alien commanders adapting their strategies to counter human tactics, Chen prepared a new plan. "We must stay ahead," she said to her officers. "Predict their moves and evolve faster. This is a war of minds as much as weapons." Meanwhile, the alien invaders faced their own challenges. General Thrax convened his commanders, frustration evident in his voice. "Humans fight like no enemy before," he admitted. "They are unpredictable, relentless. Our old methods no longer work." His advisors debated fiercely. Some argued for overwhelming force, others for cunning traps. But Thrax realized that against the human storm, old tactics were obsolete. In the shadows of their command center, a mysterious figure watched the battle unfold on screens. Unlike the alien generals, this observer studied the humans with interest rather than contempt. "They have something rare," the figure mused, "a spark that could change everything." Back aboard the Resolute, Chen looked out at the stars beyond Varelia. The battles were fierce. The stakes high, but humanity's spirit had revealed a new path forward. "We're not just fighting for this colony," she said quietly. "We're fighting for the future of the galaxy." The enemy was wounded, but far from defeated, as human and allied forces consolidated their gains. Intelligence reports warned of fresh waves of reinforcements moving through dark space corridors. The battle for Varalia was entering a new, more dangerous phase. Captain Marissa Chen stood on the bridge of the Resolute, eyes sharp beneath the glow of countless tactical displays. The storm had struck hard, but the real test was yet to come. "We need to take the fight to them," Chen said firmly. "Waiting for reinforcements to arrive on our doorstep is a risk we cannot afford." Her officers nodded. Plans unfolded rapidly as the coalition prepared a counteroffensive designed to disrupt enemy logistics and command. Lieutenant Alina Morales, now leading a larger combined squad of humans and local resistance fighters, received new orders via encrypted channels. "We're targeting their supply lines and communications hubs." Morales explained to her team, "Hit fast, hit hard, then disappear before they can respond." The squad moved through the ruined wilderness surrounding the colony, using guerrilla tactics honed through years of combined human and alien training. Morales' voice was steady. Overcomes as her forces set traps and launched surprise attacks on enemy convoys. Explosions rocked the night, enemy transports were lost to ambush, and supply caches burned. "We're cutting their lifelines," Morales reported. "This will slow their advance." Above the planet, the human fleet launched a series of daring raids against enemy command vessels. Using stealth technology and drone swarms, they disabled vital enemy systems, plunging parts of the alien fleet into disarray. Captain Chen coordinated these strikes with precision, weaving a complex web of attacks that kept the enemy off balance. "Every second we delay them is a victory," Chen told her crew. "Keep up the pressure." The alien commanders struggled to maintain control. Their forces, once dominant, were now fractured and vulnerable. General Thrax paced his war room, frustration etched deep. "They do not fight like warriors," he snarled. "They fight like storms, unpredictable, relentless. We must break their spirit." But the humans and their allies had something stronger than any weapon, an unyielding will to protect what they believed in. On the ground, Morales' squad coordinated with local engineers to sabotage enemy communication arrays, severing links between forward units and their command. "Disrupt their coordination," Morales instructed. "If they can't talk to each other, they can't fight as one." The enemy's attempts to regroup were repeatedly foiled by swift, unexpected attacks. Morales watched as her team adapted on the fly, using enemy tactics against them. "Their spirit is infectious," a local commander remarked during a brief meeting. "The humans have rekindled hope we thought lost." As the counterattack gained momentum, human and allied forces pushed deeper into contested zones. The tide of battle shifted from desperate defense to confident offense. Captain Chen allowed herself a brief moment to reflect. The storm was no longer just a force of destruction, it was a symbol of unity, innovation, and resilience. "We are the storm," she said quietly, "and we will not be stopped." The battle for Varelia had reached a crucial moment. The alien forces, once towering over the defenders like an unstoppable tide, were beginning to fracture under the relentless human-led assault. But neither side was willing to yield yet. The war hung in a delicate balance, and the coming hours would define the fate of this corner of the galaxy. Captain Marissa Chen stood at the bridge of the Resolute, her gaze fixed on the vast holographic display that mapped the ebb and flow of the conflict below. The data streams told a story of shifting lines enemy positions collapsing. Supply routes cut, but pockets of resistance still fiercely clinging to strategic points. Enemy reinforcements detected approaching from the southern wormhole. The tactical officer reported, "Their fleet is larger than anticipated." Chen's jaw tightened. "Prepare intercept squads. We can't let them land fresh troops." She turned to the communications officer. "Send all available drones and fighters to delay their approach. We'll buy time for ground forces to finish clearing the city." Meanwhile, on Varelia's surface, Lieutenant Alina Morales prepared her squad for a decisive strike. Intelligence had pinpointed the location of the enemy's command bunker, a heavily fortified structure controlling the remaining forces. "We take that bunker," Morales said, locking eyes with each member of her team. "This ends here." The squad moved through the ruined streets under the cover of darkness, guided by local scouts who knew every hidden path and tunnel. The alien defenders were alert, but human tactics swift, unpredictable, and ruthless kept them off balance. As Morales' team approached the bunker, they encountered fierce resistance. Plasma turrets and automated defenses lit up the area, and alien troops poured out to meet them. "Hold formation," Morales commanded. "Suppress and advance." Her Marines fired in coordinated bursts, using grenades and cover to close the distance. The enemy fought with desperation, but the human determination was overwhelming. On the Resolute, Chen coordinated space operations as the enemy fleet neared. Drones swarmed to intercept, engaging in fast-paced dogfights against alien fighters. Missile batteries tracked larger ships, while electronic warfare units scrambled enemy sensors. The battle in space was chaotic and brutal. But the human fleet's combination of technology and tactics began to turn the tide. Back on the ground, Morales led her squad inside the bunker through a side entrance uncovered by scouts. Inside, the command center was a maze of corridors and control rooms filled with alien officers scrambling to maintain control. Morales and her team moved silently, disabling guards and hacking into the bunker systems. When they reached the central command chamber, they found General Thrax himself, rallying the last of his forces. The confrontation was tense and swift. Thrax, realizing the battle was lost, ordered a retreat, but Morales' squad cut off the escape routes. With the command bunker captured, alien forces began to lose coordination and morale. Communications broke down, and isolated units surrendered or fled. On the Resolute, Chen watched the enemy fleet falter. "They're pulling back," she said quietly. "We've broken their will." As the dust settled over Varelia, human and allied forces began the arduous task of securing the planet and aiding survivors. Morales stood amidst the ruins, exhaustion etched on her face, but pride shining in her eyes. "We did it," she whispered. "We turned the tide." Captain Chen addressed the coalition leaders in a transmission. "Today, we showed the galaxy what humanity brings. Not just weapons, but hope and unity. This victory is the beginning of a new chapter." The storm had struck, the galaxy would never be the same. The war for Varelia was over. But its echoes would resonate far beyond the shattered city streets and the silent stars above. Humanity's arrival had changed the galaxy's balance. And the storm they brought promised a future no one could ignore. Captain Marissa Chen stood on the Resolute's observation deck, watching as Allied ships and transport vessels moved in to rebuild and assist. The once barren battleground was transforming into a beacon of hope. News from other sectors was already filtering in rumors of other human fleets arriving, of colonies inspired by the defiant spirit that had crushed the invaders. Allies and former adversaries alike sent messages of gratitude and curiosity. Eager to learn from humanity's example, Chen's Cum unit buzzed with a message from Lieutenant Alina Morales. Now recovering at a field hospital, we're helping local communities rebuild, Morales said, her voice tired but proud. There's so much to do, but the people have hope. That hope comes from knowing they're not alone. Chen smiled softly. That's what we came here for. The galaxy had long been divided, species wary of one another, locked in conflicts that seemed endless. But humanity's intervention had shown a new way. Unity forged through resilience, courage, and a refusal to surrender. In the coalition's newly formed council chambers, Ambassador Ryla addressed representatives from dozens of worlds. Humans taught us a powerful lesson, not just in battle, but in spirit. We must build a future where cooperation replaces fear. Dr. Kalen stood beside her, explaining human technology and strategies that could be adapted to local conditions. We want to share what we've learned. Together, we can create defenses and innovations that protect us all. Even General Thrax's forces, once feared and hated, began to reconsider their path. Fractures appeared in their ranks as some leaders sought peace, recognizing the futility of war against such determination. Back on the Resolute, Captain Chen contemplated what lay ahead. The storm they brought was not just a force of destruction, it was a catalyst for change. We showed them what humanity is capable of, she said to her officers. We must help the galaxy build something better. Morales returned to the ship, greeted by cheers from the crew. You were incredible out there, Chen told her. We all were, Morales replied. This is just the beginning. As the Resolute prepared to continue its journey, Chen looked out once more at the stars. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but for the first time in a long time, it was also full of hope. The storm had passed, but its legacy was just beginning.